What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 179, and today is the first week's review. With me, the man who handles our research from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, it's been a wild week one, and I do wonder how those wounds are healing after your week one trouncing.
I let Mike Haber have this one. I wanted to make sure that he got a win under his belt this season. So I let him have this one, and now I'm ready to move on and take care of business with Mr. Bucco. So I'm doing okay. Getting back into the swing of things as we settle into the long haul of the baseball season. And yeah, it's gonna be a fun ride, that's for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. It was a very interesting week. We saw a lot of interesting stories, and let's dive right into those. We're going to kick this thing off with our commissioner taking a 12-7 loss to Bobby Russo. On Sunday, it looks like Ben flipped doubles and on base percentage, almost got the batting average, but had he made either the Brandon Marsh deal on the 29th over Randall Grichuk or the Jesse Winker play on April the 5th, the Saturday. He plays one of those, he gets batting average, and we're talking about 11-9 or somewhere around there. So, for his moves on the bench, he goes 8 for 19, which is a 421 batting average. Again, those definitely would have played with 2 runs, 3 doubles, 2 triples, a homer, 7 RBIs, and 3 strikeouts. Again, he won the triples category, so having 2 triples on the bench from Jesse Winker, not as bad.
Yeah.
But here we are with the batting average being only 4 ticks apart. For his moves this week, he makes 3 trades. So the first trade was Nolan Arenado to him with Tyler Soderstrom for Seth Lugo and Josh Young. I'll stop here. Josh Young hits the IL, so obviously this all of a sudden becomes a really good deal in Ben's favor. He does drop Tyler Soderstrom, and he goes back to Mike Sherman. So Sherman gets all of the benefit of this deal, and Ben gets his guy. What do you think of this deal?
Yeah, it was an interesting trade. He wanted Arenado, right? I mean, that's his guy. So he got it. Josh Young hits the IL, but I think he's due to come back relatively soon here, I think. So the time missed is not going to be all that much for Mike Sherman. I thought it was an interesting deal. Losing to Seth Lugo, depletes the rotation a bit. So, um, but again, if Ben's happy getting Nolan Arenado back, then all the best for him.
Yeah, I know he's thrilled with it, and he doesn't feel like he's like he recognizes that it was probably a bit of an overpay, but at the end of the day, he's willing to overpay to Mike Sherman than anybody else who could be in a playoff hunt. So I think this is an interesting deal. It strengthens Sherman's team, no doubt, and Ben gets his guy.
Yeah.
He added Alex Verdugo. He dropped Yu Darvish for Marcus Stroman, dropped Brendan Bernardino for Graham Ashcraft, Zach Kelly for Scott Barlow, did drop Tyler Soderstrom for Emilio Pagan, and then traded Christopher Morel to Chris Levy for Taylor Rogers. So he's stocking up on the Cincinnati bullpen, and Chris Levy gets a 5-position eligible starter in Tampa Bay.
And he's a Rays fan, so everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. Randall Grichuk comes home. He gets to go to Ben's team, and Josh gets Josh Bell out of that.
Yeah, I think Josh Bell is probably somebody who can hit the waiver wire pretty soon. This guy is pretty much garbage.
Yeah, and Randall Grichuk's a part-time player. He's absolutely a part-time player at this point.
Yeah.
Ben added Brent Suter and Victor Vodnik. Vodnik had a bad relief appearance, but did just pick up the save on Sunday.
Yeah, I was at that game, and probably one of the weirdest saves you'll ever see, because the guy comes in and it was like he comes in the 8th, and it was like 7-4 or something like that, and then the Rockies blew up in the bottom of the 8th and scored a whole bunch of runs, make it 12-4, and he was just trying to blow that game. It was he failed at blowing the game. That's how bad it was. He was just trying to give it away, and he could not. But He walks away with a save. One of the weirdest saves I've ever seen.
Yeah. I read about it. I knew that they won in a blowout and that Seth Halverson would not be coming in for the save if it was a blowout. But I didn't think that the guy that Ben has, who he's been dangling to me, going, "Hey, you want this guy? You want this guy?" Yeah.
Yeah.
For his MVP this week, we're going to give it to Nolan Arenado, 343 average and 439 on base percentage, 6 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, 6 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter this week, it is Brandon Marsh, because in the lineup, he went 0-56 with a 261 and RBI, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts. Out of the lineup, he went 3 for 5, I think it was, with a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. He couldn't figure out how to get Brandon Marsh in and out of the lineup.
Yeah. Now he's no longer on the team.
No.
The Cy Young is a guy who went this evening and was less than stellar, but Nathan Eovaldi was fantastic in week 1. 15 innings, a win, a bomb, 17 strikeouts, a 120 and an 047. The Cy Young goes to Tanner Houck, who he pitched to a 254 ERA. No, he pitched to a 635 ERA with a
Yeah, Ben
176
Ben,
win.
ben pitched to a 254 ERA, so it was really, nobody was really terrible in this pitching staff this week.
Mm-hmm. Had he not played Tanner Houck, I think he could have flipped whip. And he
Uh,
doesn't take that loss.
yeah, yep. Mm-hmm.
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 For Bobby's team this week, he went 14 for 53 on the bench. That is a 264 batting average with 7 runs, a double that would have tied the category, 4 homers, 5 RBIs, a steal, 6 walks, 11 strikeouts, and an error. The only thing that does play is that double that would have tied the category. For his moves this week, not much to write home about. He added to Jorge Polanco, Jacob Junis, Andrew Painter, and Josh Lowe. So he's going to play the long game with Josh Lowe in this oblique. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I wanted to be able to stash him. I just couldn't with Otani and Alvarez. But yeah, if you have the IL spot for him, look, if you're gonna get a guy who's nursing an oblique injury, get him in April, not in July, right? So maybe he's back by mid-May, and you have this guy who, he's a 20 home run threat. If he comes back healthy, I think it's a great stash.
Yeah, I think it's a solid stash too, and I think it'll help him here in the next month or two when he does eventually come back. Sad to see Frank drop him, but you know what? He had too many guys on his IL as well, with Jared Jones and Luis Heel clogging those up. So, and those guys are going to be back about the same time as Josh Lowe anyway. So,
Right.
you know,
Makes sense.
Bobby's MVP this week is Kyle Tucker, who just went absolutely nuts. He hit 319 with a 458 on base percentage, 13 runs, 5 doubles, 5 homers, 15 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 12 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Holy
12
shit.
6 strikeouts. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane. It was enough to be NL Player of the Week for week 2. The least valuable hitter goes to Randy Arozarena, who at 139 with a 237 on base. 4 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, 7 walks, 14 strikeouts. With a shout out to Spencer Steer, who hit 067, and Christian Encarnacion Strand, who hit 158. Realistically, Bobby tore the cover off the ball. He set an all-time Bigs record for most home runs in a week with 25. Yeah, all time, any week, any number of days in a week, Bobby hit the quarter, and that's a hell of a moment. His Cy Young this week goes to Garrett Crochet. 13 innings, a win, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts, a 138 and an 092. The Cy Young goes to Joel Payamps, who had a blow-up appearance. 3 2/3, a save, a bomb, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 1227 and 191 over 5 relief appearances. Surprisingly enough, Bobby ran away with relief appearances and saves on our friend Ben Nisman here. So it's an interesting little moment here.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is if you're gonna stockpile one team like Ben's doing with the Reds, you gotta hope that the Reds are gonna do something good. And they lost what, 3 1-0 games in a row or something like that.
Hmm.
So like that right there takes any chance of a save away. So it's an interesting strategy. If it works, it's delicious. But if it doesn't work, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have any concern about these guys competing for playoff spots. I think they're going to do awesome this year. It's way too early to start talking about that, so we're just going to put a bow on this one. Say congratulations, Bobby. You've got your first win under your belt, and move on. Jason, unfortunately, in doing so, it's time to talk about the severe beating of Jason Ashby in Week 1.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a fun week. Um, I, from the very beginning of the week when I was dealing with a lot, outside of baseball, and
Mm.
completely forgot about the fact that like I drafted 14th overall, so I had a pretty good waiver spot that I used on Eduardo Rodriguez.
Hey.
um, yeah, so that happened. It was just just a lot of things going on, mental gaff. Getting back into the swing of things of
Mm.
baseball, but I'm like I said, I'm gonna look. I'd rather face Mike Haber here in week 1 than in like week 16 or something like that when I'm in the dogfight. Get this out of the way now, and I move on to Frank Bucco for week 2.
Yeah. Well, on Sunday, Mike Haber hit not one but two triples, and you got one as well. So that made a tie out of that category.
Dude, so yeah, I got the triple. I think it was like Friday or Saturday, and I said to him, I was like, okay, I guess that's the triple. Like at least I got that. And I get to the Rockies game yesterday, and he texted me, Austin Wells hit a triple. I'm like, great. And then I get another triple, and then he gets another triple, and I'm like, yeah, this is how this week is gonna end with him tying triples with 2 more triples on Sunday. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, he takes that tie. He flipped ERA, and you won doubles. Close categories. You won by the double, Mike by the two saves, and you guys tied in triples, errors, and wins. For Mike on his bench this week, he goes 10 for 37, which is a 270 batting average, 4 runs, 3 doubles that would have won the category, a homer, 6 RBIs, 2 steals, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. His moves this week, he added AJ Smith-Shawver, Landon Raup, Adrian Morejon, Tobias Myers, who's on the IL, so that's an interesting little add there. Ben Rice is a nice little pickup who's hitting the cover off the ball for the Yankees right now.
Yeah, by the way, he hit a triple today.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah. So Mike's just gonna triple everybody to death with these
He
random
is
Yankees.
insane. He added Randy Rodriguez and Craig Yoho. Not Yoo-hoo, but Yoho.
Yo, yeah, missing a
It's,
couple of O's for the Yoo-hoo, but
yes.
yeah, he did the AJ Smith Shawver. He added him this for the start against the Marlins on Sunday, or on
Mhm.
Saturday, and he was just awful against the Marlins, and so he gets put back on the waiver wire.
Yep. Yep. The MVP this week is going to be Pete Alonso. Love me some Pete Alonso this week.
Yeah, if Mike's gonna put a whooping on me like he did, Pete Alonso's gonna get the MVP. Absolutely.
No doubt. 290 with a 421 on base, 6 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 11 RBIs, 6 walks, and only 5 strikeouts. And if he can stick to that, it sounds like he could be pushing an MVP this year.
Dude, yeah, absolutely. I mean, 11 RBIs in the first week. I'll take that.
Yeah. Shout out to Cedric Mullins, who hit 320 with a 441 with 3 homers and 10 RBIs. He had himself a monster week. Brandon Lau had 2 homers and 7 RBIs.
Yep.
The least valuable hitter is Pete Crow Armstrong. Interesting.
Yeah.
077 with a 111, 5 runs, 2 steals, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Remember in the draft review show, I said something about Akil Baddoo and Pete Crow Armstrong. I'm going to keep an eye on that all year.
Yeah. And I tell you what, I got PCA towards the end of last year, and he was really great for me. So like I was
Mhm.
hoping maybe he would take a step forward. Hopefully this is just getting it out of the way in the early part of the season, but not good.
Right. The Cy Young this week goes to Ryan Walker, who picked up 3 saves over 5 relief appearances, and the Cy Young is ass. It's AJ Smith-Shawver, 8 2/3, a 5.19 and a 2.19, 2 losses.
Yeah,
He was just not good. He was
no, and neither are the Braves. So there you go.
Yeah. Braves have been absolute ass over the first week, and yeah, let's go Mets. For your bench, sir, you went 13 for 60. That's a 217 batting average with 14 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs, a steal, 11 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 3 errors that would have flipped the category for you if you were able to keep those out of the lineup or put them in the lineup. You would have lost that category. So good job keeping that out.
Thank you.
Yeah. You mentioned the Eduardo Rodriguez pickup. You also have written here Jose Buto. Oops.
Yeah, there were waiver claims that I didn't need to make,
Mm,
basically,
gotcha.
and shouldn't have made. Although Jose Buto is pitching, or as we found out tonight, it's Buto.
It is
Uh,
Buto.
he's pitching really well, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, and then you flipped Eduardo Rodriguez to Frank for Dylan Lee. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I came out of the draft feeling like my bullpen was just absolute garbage. So he was looking for, kind of a number three, number four starter. And I knew I needed just another bullpen arm to stick in there. Um, so it just worked. It just worked. We literally negotiated for like 30 seconds. He's like, who do you got? I got Eduardo. Who do you got? Dylan Lee. Okay, done.
Done.
That was probably one of the easiest trades I've ever made.
Yeah. You dropped Evan Carter and picked up Jack Caglione for the NA spot. You don't like Evan Carter, and you'll go with Jack Cags from the Kansas City Royals instead.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wasted a high draft capital on Evan Carter. Fuck that guy.
Okay, fuck that guy. You picked up Garrett Whitlock, Gavin Lux, Jose Ferrer, Thomas Harrington. That did not work. Uh,
No.
Abner Uribe, Wasker Brazaban, and Dick Fitzger. What's wrong with Dick Fitz?
So I wasted my last ad on Sunday thinking that he was going to pitch the nightcap of the doubleheader last night,
Mm-hmm.
and come to find out that he's not, that he's pitching today instead. So I wouldn't have used that ad on him yesterday if I knew that. So,
Gotcha.
sure.
Gotcha. Jackson Holiday is your MVP this week. 370 with a 393, 4 runs, a double, a triple, a homer, 4 RBIs, a stolen base, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Kid's going to be good.
I hope so. I have a lot riding on him.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else is your least valuable hitter. Matt Shaw hit 095. Gavin Lux hit 192 with 10 strikeouts. Mark Vientos hit 118. Wilson Contreras hit 114 with 16 strikeouts. It's a bad week for you, my man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Corbin Carroll was good. Otherwise, yeah, it was a really rough week offensively. They it seemed like they were my hitters were starting to pick it up towards the end of the week, so I'm hoping that carries over. But it's again, I'm relying on a lot of these young guys, Jackson Holiday and Jason Dominguez, and these guys to really pull through. We'll see, we'll see. This was a rough week one.
Yeah, I would say so. You're going to have to dig yourself out quick, but getting a matchup with Frank, it's doable.
Yep.
Shota Imanaga is the Cy Young, 18 and a third, 2 wins, a homer, 6 walks, 10 strikeouts, an 098 and an 071 on the whip. The Cy Young goes to Thomas Harrington. We said that did not work. It was 4 innings, a loss, a homer, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, a 1350 and a 275. I had thought about doing it as well, so don't feel bad that you did it.
And
I
I have
almost did it too.
I have a coworker of the exact same name, so I thought it was kind of poetic.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mike Haber is off to a great start this year. He takes over first place for the first week of the season, and God knows how long he's going to be up there.
Yep, he's definitely straightening up the sheets. He's making himself right at home there in his bedroom up at top of the league.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on to his brother, who got himself a win as well this week. It was 15-6 over Ari. As for what happened on Sunday, Josh flipped doubles and Ari flipped strikeouts by a pitcher and untied triples. So close categories. Josh wins by a double, 3 home runs by a batter, an error, 2 losses, 3 saves, 3 home runs by a pitcher, and 4 walks by a pitcher. Ari wins by the triple and 3 wins. They did not tie in anything. For Josh on his bench, he goes 0 for 33.
That's pretty good, right?
I quit. He won. He wins 0 for 33.
How do you beat that?
You can't. A run, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts. Obviously, none of it plays. Absolutely insane. Insane. He used all 10 ads plus a trade this week. Tomoyuki Sagano, Cam Smith off of the waiver wire. He did win that waiver claim in the opening week. So he gets Cam Smith, who was not great this week, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Mark Church, Victor Scott, Josh Bell gets the trade from Ben for Randall Grichuk. Trent Thornton gets a win in relief. Jack Leiter goes to the IL with a blister on his hand. That sucks.
And he picked him up after he made the start in which he got the blister, so he never really even got to use him.
Yeah, he's never gonna. That guy ends up going back out into the free agency, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I picked up Pavin Smith, Josh Smith, and Ryan Stanek, and if he has Ryan Stanek, he just got a save out of that guy for tonight.
Exactly why he picked him up. He saw that end of Sunday. He saw that Edwin Diaz pitch 2 games in a row. We're gonna play the Marlins on Monday. Let me get the next guy in the stable. Beautiful move. Beautiful.
No doubt. His MVP this week goes to Ivan Herrera, who is now unfortunately on the IL after a nasty knee injury. 381 with a 458 on base percentage, 6 runs, 2 doubles, 4 homers, 11 RBIs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. But does hit the IL with knee inflammation.
Yeah, the saying is only a month, which that's probably as best as you could hope for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Does leave him without a catcher, so we'll see what he does this week to shore that up.
Yeah. Christian Walker is the least valuable hitter, 194 with a 216, 3 runs, a double, a homer, an RBI, and 13 strikeouts. With shout out to Cam Smith, a 143 batting average and a 294 on base, a run, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Another guy who didn't really hit for him this week, but it didn't really matter because he blew the fuck out of Ari on the offensive side.
I was really mad that I lost that waiver claim, but he hasn't really shown up yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mackenzie Gore is going to be the Cy Young this week. He's been fantastic. 11 innings, a loss, a homer, 2 walks, 18 strikeouts, a 245, and a 109. I would imagine that the loss is one of those tough luck ones that came.
Yeah, in Toronto, pitched 5 innings. I mean, it wasn't a great start, but his start against the Phillies was really good, and he just beat the Dodgers today. So
yeah, he could be a breakout. I had him as a sleeper this year.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to Colin Snyder, who had 3 2/3, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 736, and a 245 across 3 relief appearances. Ari pitched his ass off this week, so it is worth noting that though Josh did blow him out, a 264 and a 112 whip is to be commended on Ari's side.
Absolutely.
For Ari this week on his bench, this is always a pain in the ass every year. He goes 30 for 86. That's a 349 batting average, 9 runs, 2 doubles, which would have won the category. A homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, 6 walks, 23 strikeouts, and an error. Only the doubles play. He lost that by 1. He benched 2 of them. Again, would have had to be perfect, but they can be done.
I actually feel like for an Ari bench in a long week, this is actually pretty light.
Yeah, it's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Only made 3 ads this week. Gio Urshela, Jared Kelnick, who homered, and Jonathan Aranda. His MVP this week goes to Ryan Mountcastle. 412 with a 444 on base, 3 runs, a double, a triple, an RBI, a walk, 3 strikeouts. And as
he had the Sunday triple that
oh,
got him that category. So
very nice.
yeah.
Very nice. The least valuable hitter goes to Anthony Santander, 194 with a 326 on base, 2 runs, a double, an RBI, 7 walks, 10 strikeouts. Gross. Gunnar Henderson is 077 with 7 strikeouts and an error. TJ
Yeah.
Friedel, a 105 batting average. Gio Urshela, a 111 batting average. There were some dudes who dragged this down.
Yeah. Reese Hoskins was not good. I mean, Gardner Henderson just came back from injury, but yeah, he already kind of shit the bed.
The Cy Young this week goes to Shane Baz. 6 innings, a win, 10 strikeouts, nothing earned in a 117. The Cy Young goes to Tanner Bibby. 9 2/3, a win, a loss, 4 bombs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 652, and a 134. Ari's got the big bench again this year, man.
Yeah, some things will never change, and I guess that's one of them.
However, he does have a nice little bullpen rocking this year.
Yeah, I gotta say, he actually, let's see, what did he do in the relief appearances? He
had 22 relief appearances and put up 4 saves.
Yeah, only four fewer than Josh in the relief appearances.
Yeah.
So yeah, he hung right in there. So yeah, it may be a different Ari than we've seen in the past.
Let's hope so, because this league is better when Ari competes. And though it's an odd year, Ari is good at getting into the playoffs in even years. So we'll see if he can buck the trend this year.
Absolutely.
All right, we move on to the next one, which is Frank getting blown out by Mike Sherman. It was another blowout win for somebody this week. 14-7 for Mike Sherman this week as he takes down Frank Bucco. As for Sunday, Frank flipped on base percentage, so it was good. He got it to a double up.
Yep. Little icing.
Yeah. Close categories. Frank wins by the triple, 1 tick on the on-base percentage, and 3 strikeouts. Sherman wins by 4 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 2 stolen bases, a win, a bomb by a pitcher, and 4 walks by a pitcher. They obviously did not tie in anything. As for Sherman on his bench, he goes 15 for 74. That is a 203 batting average. 6 runs, 4 doubles, a homer, 4 RBIs, 2 steals, 5 walks, which might have flipped on base percentage. I agree with you that one more hit or one more walk would have taken that back from Frank.
Yep.
Yeah. And then 21 strikeouts is great to have in your bench.
Hell yeah.
As for his moves this week, he added Craig Kimbrell. Does that guy have a job yet?
Yeah, he's pitching for the Braves minor league team.
Oh. Okay. I don't know if he's going to get in. Okay.
Yeah, he's doing that.
All right. We talked about the trade that got him Josh Young and Seth Lugo, so that'll be fun to see what transpires with that over the season. He dropped Nolan Jones for Hunter Goodman. Good move there. Dropped Dennis Santana for Luke Jackson. It worked, but both of them are closing now.
Yeah, but I think I'd rather have the closer for the Rangers than for the Pirates.
True. Very true. Dropped Brian Bayo for Brett Beatty, and then Brett Beatty for Tyler Soderstrom. Added Dennis Santana back. Added Luis Ortiz, who was good in a loss, and added Zach Veen to finish out the week. How do you feel about that kid, Zach Veen?
Yeah, so that like just about an hour after I wasted this ad on Richard Fitz, the Rockies announced that they're going to bring this kid up, and he tore up the minor leagues. Just even this, I think he had like 5 home runs already in AAA.
Wow.
So like I was so mad because I would have absolutely scooped him up if I'd known that he was actually coming up like for this week.
Yeah.
So good for Sherman to grab this kid. And the Hunter Goodman. And if this kid can actually stay consistent and hit, he's gonna get all the chances in the world this year. But to have a guy who's catcher and dual outfield eligible, like that is gold. If he can hit.
Absolutely. As long as he can hit, and you know what, he plays half his home games in Colorado, so you're gonna want to get in on that when he's at home.
Yeah.
The MVP this week for Sherman is Heliot Ramos. It is at 314 with a 333, 6 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, only 1 walk, and 12 strikeouts. But that was a hell of a week on this guy's team.
Yeah, I feel like every day he was doing something.
Yeah. Dylan Cruz, however, still looking for his first hit of the season with an 0.63 on base percentage, a run, a stolen base, a walk, 10 strikeouts, and an error. Yikes.
Yeah, I think he did eventually get that first hit. But he has 3 hits in his last 3 games, but it's been a rough start for this kid.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. The Cy Young goes to Spencer Schwellenbach, 14 innings, a win, 14 strikeouts, and a walk, nothing earned in an 0.29. God damn it, they found another really good pitcher.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to Ronel Blanco, 6 2/3, a loss, 6 walks, 9 strikeouts, a 9.45, and a 2.10. With a shout out to Justin Verlander, who had a 6.14 ERA and a 1.91 whip. Gross.
Yeah, he got dropped. And both of those were over 2 starts, so those are 2 just not good starts from each of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As for Frank on his bench this week, he goes a solid 24 for 75. That is a 320 batting average. Would that have flipped batting average? No, because he only hit 213.
Yeah.
However, 13 runs, that would have won the category. 2 doubles would have won the category. 3 homers, 7 RBIs, 4 stolen bases would have won the category. 13 walks, 21 strikeouts, and 2 errors. The 21 strikeouts would have lost him that category, so it's a good thing he kept those out.
Yeah.
For his moves this week, he adds Victor Vodnik, trades for Eduardo Rodriguez, adds Frazier Ellard, whatever that guy is, added Hector Neris, who was terrible, added Drake Baldwin, who's now going to be behind Sean Murphy, added Zach McKinstry, who plays like 6 positions, added Penn Murphy, who was terrible, added Miles Michaelis, who was atrocious last night.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Added Brock Burke, who was terrible, added Hunter Gaddis, and Andrew Benintendi. He did, in fact, use all 10. His MVP this week goes to Alex Bregman. Hopefully, this guy sticks on his team all year and hits like this. 341 with a 383, 7 runs, 5 doubles, 2 homers, 10 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. 2 errors is ugly when he lost that category. Or no, he won that category. He won that category by 3, so those don't even matter.
There you go.
Yeah. The least valuable hitter goes to Yainer Diaz, 077 with a 143, an RBI, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Zach Wheeler. I can't believe he drafted Zach Wheeler. 13 innings, a win, 2 homers, 2 walks, 18 strikeouts, a 138, and an 054. The Cy Young is David Bednar or Penn Murphy or Miles Michaelis or Hector Neris or Brock Burke or whoever. He had the worst ERA this week by far with a 6.45. It was not pretty. It was not pretty.
I mean, I gave it to Bednar because like this guy, he was like the closer for the Pirates, and now he can't even break the roster. Like, I feel like it's even worse than Camilo Doval. Like, you can't break the Pirates roster. That's a problem.
Yeah, no doubt, and especially as a closer, like you have to be better than Colin Holderman and Dennis Santana, and you can't make that
Ryan
happen.
Baroki, yeah, like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm hopeful that Sherman's going to stay competitive because this was a hell of a win, putting him in 4th place to start the season.
Yeah, it's a great week. Nice big win for him. He used 8 ads, so like he made the moves, made a trade. Like, yeah, like you said, and you said it many times. This league is so much better when Mike Sherman and Ari are competitive. So
yes,
let's make this a really good season, guys.
I agree. And as for Frank, shake this one off. Move on.
Next week.
Yeah, you hit like crap. You pitched like shit. You move on.
Yeah, but wait till week 3 because you ain't rebounding this week.
Okay, no rebounding this week. You'll get it in week 3. Let's move on to my matchup with Costas, which ends up a 9-9 tie. I'm a little disappointed it ended up 9-9, but you know what? That's it's okay. It's all right. I went for something and it kind of worked out.
Okay.
Costas flipped runs and tied losses. I tied errors and I flipped innings pitched to win that category. So close categories. I won by 4 home runs, 5 strikeouts, 8 ticks on the batting average, 5 innings pitched, and 3 wins. Costas, 1 run, a double, and 2 relief appearances. Curse that double. Curse that double, my man. We tied in triples, errors, and losses. I'll take that every time.
Yeah, right.
The losses is really interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. For me on my bench, I went 11 for 40. That's a 275 average, 5 runs, which would have won the category, 3 doubles, which would have won the category, 2 RBIs, a steal, 4 walks, and 9 strikeouts. Yeah, it's just a pedestrian week, and a couple of things slipped through. Max Muncy on the bench when he hit that double was annoying. Very annoying. As for my moves this week, I picked up David Hamilton, hoping he would get the starting second base job in Boston. He didn't. Picked up Andy Pages. I was hoping he'd be the center fielder and hit well in LA. He hasn't. Emerson Hancock was terrible. Somehow you guys like Christian Campbell fall all the way through waivers, and I picked him back up though.
Yeah, I was mad about that.
Yeah. Seth Halverson, I picked up after he got an inning and I think it was like an inning and a third or an inning and 2/3 save that one day. So I've been waiting to see what happens. The Rockies aren't very good, so who knows when the next save opportunity is going to come.
It's going to come when they're up 12-3 and they decide to blow the game.
Yeah, apparently. The giant cojones I had to start Taijuan Walker, 6 innings, a win, a walk, and 4 strikeouts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Added Spencer Torkelson because Freddie went down with an ankle injury. Picked up Sean Murphy, who's going to be my new catcher. And picked up Cade Povich and Carson Spires. One was bad, one was not terrible. At the end of the day, I wanted to flip innings. I made that happen and was hoping that I wouldn't take 3 losses. I took 3 losses, 2 of them from these guys, and then a reliever loss in Blake Trinan. But the Pittsburgh Pirates bailed me out when they walked off on Devin Williams. So
there you go.
The MVP this week goes to Tommy Edman without question. 250 with a 261, 9 runs, 5 homers, 9 RBIs, a steal, a walk, 5 strikeouts, and an error. With a shout out to Marcell Ozuna, who had 13 walks this week.
Yeah, I mean, the Rays aren't going to do anything, walk that guy and face everybody else. But Tommy Edman is probably the one guy that like of the whole draft that I regret not drafting. Like I have him in, I think I have him in like 4 other leagues, 4 or 5 other leagues. Like I love this guy. I did not see 5 home runs coming in the first week though. That is impressive.
That's a very nice surprise. Very nice surprise. Christian Campbell also scored me 10 runs, hit 4 doubles and 2 homers. So that kid gets a month on the team at least.
Yeah, and he's also playing the outfield too, so watch out for that eligibility.
That'd be great. The Cy Young goes to Jose Alvarado, 5 innings, a win, 2 saves, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, a 180 and a 120, and 5 relief appearances. Well, he took over the closer job from Jordan Romano, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did, and he's your Cy Young.
Yeah, he is with a 15.75 VRA and a 250 WHIP.
Yeah, so
at least he didn't lose a game, though.
Phillies.
He didn't lose a game.
He did not lose a game. He did get you a save, but yeah, I guess if you have the top two henchmen in the Phillies bullpen, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, at least I've got one of them that worked out.
Yeah.
As for Costas on his bench this week, he went 7 for 28. That's a nice even 250 with 3 runs, 2 homers, 6 RBIs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. None of it plays. He added Kershaw, Mark Leiter Jr., who apparently got into every fucking game this week. Mark Leiter Jr. Every time I turned around, he was pitching for the Yankees. Miguel Amaya had 5 RBIs in the opening day game, or was it the opening series, or was it opening day? He had 5
I think it was the second game.
Okay. Otto Lopez and Carson Kelly, and it was Carson Kelly after the cycle, so he didn't get that guy in.
Yep.
The MVP this week, is it Nootbaar or is it Teo? I don't know. Lars Nootbaar was pretty damn good, but I'll go with Teoscar Hernandez. 268 with a 311, 7 runs, 3 doubles, 4 homers, 13 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 3 walks, and 10 strikeouts. Seiya Suzuki had 21 strikeouts despite having 4 homers and 11 RBIs. That's a really nice number. 21
Yeah.
strikeouts is ugly, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's how many like strikeouts I left on the bench.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The least valuable hitter goes to Ceddanne Rafaela. Yeah, 185 with a 241, 4 runs, 4 RBIs, 2 steals, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts. Otto Lopez had an 095 batting average with a 136 on base.
Yeah,
Alec
I
Bohm
feel
was
like
bad.
he just couldn't figure out when to get him in. Like he had a couple of big
Mm-hmm.
days, um, especially against the Mets, but he
Mm-hmm.
never got him in the lineup the right day.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to Brady Singer.
Yeah.
12 innings, 2 wins, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts, a 225, and a 108. With a shout out to Freddie Peralta's 16 strikeouts with a 208 and an 054.
Which is impressive because he didn't look great against the Yankees in that opening day start, but he bounced back with a nice big inning start against the Royals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Cy Young, I'm not giving it to Bo Brisky. I'm giving it to Nestor Cortez because he was fucking atrocious. Dude, he gave up back to back to back home runs on back to back to back pitches.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that was Yankee Stadium. Yeah, I guess that was pretty bad. But he also bounced back with a nice start to his next
Yeah.
outing.
Yeah, the next outing was frustratingly good.
Yeah. But
Frustratingly good.
now he's got an elbow and he's on the IL, so Godspeed.
Yep. Best of luck to him. We'll move on here. We'll move on to Henry versus Jimmy, which also came down to the wire between these two guys. Jimmy getting the 10-9 win this week. On Sunday, Jimmy flipped walks by a pitcher to win the week, and Tyler Glasnow lost the week for Henry. I assume that's because he pitched poorly and got hurt.
5 walks on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
Single-handedly.
That was all it took was the 5 walks from Tyler Glasnow to flip the whole week.
Damn, that sucks. Close categories this week. Jimmy wins by a double and 2 walks by a pitcher. Henry wins by 3 runs and 2 home runs by a pitcher. And they tied in triples and losses. For Jimmy on his bench this week, he goes 11 for 41. That's a 268 batting average. 7 runs, 4 doubles, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, 4 walks, and 11 strikeouts. The 7 runs would have played and won him the category, but I digress. His moves this week. He had Ben Kasparius the day after he pitched.
Yeah, and then dropped him the next day. So it was a weird trend flow there.
Yeah. He added Marcelo Meyer and dropped him the next day as well, so he's not keeping that guy for the NA spot.
Yeah. It was just, it was curious.
Yeah. Added Kevin Kelly, Jojo Romero, Victor Vodnik, Sean Armstrong, Bryce Wilson, Daniel Lynch, and Michael Massey. So a bunch of relief-eligible guys and Michael Massey.
Yeah. I'm feeling like, it's only been 1 week, but Victor Vodnik is becoming the new like Andrew Heaney, where everybody's getting a ride on this guy, or is Ben going to hold on to him?
Ben's holding on to him because he thinks I want to trade for him. But
okay, all right. I guess he's not the bicycle then.
Nah, he might be. He might be. You never know. Like Ben might drop him tomorrow. Who knows? The MVP this week for Jimmy is Jackson Churio. Despite 15 strikeouts, he had 295 average, 289 on base percentage. That is in fact lower because that sacrifice fly happened. He had no walks, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 4 doubles, and 6 runs scored. The least valuable hitter goes to Corey Seager. Really? That's disappointing to hear. Where is he? Oh, there he is. 160 with a 222, 2 runs, a homer, an RBI, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts. Shout out to Brian Reynolds, who had 15 strikeouts, but was much better than Corey Seager on the counting stats. Jake Berger hit 114. William Contreras hit 097.
He probably should have gotten the least valuable, because like that's disappointing to see William Contreras not even hitting 100.
Yeah,
in the first week.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to Chris Bubich, 12 and 2/3, 2 wins, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts, an 071 and an 087. What? This guy?
Yeah. Between him and Brady Singer, I feel like it's like 2019 all over again or something. Like, where did these guys come back from?
No idea. But the Cy Young goes to Justin Steele, who was Well, he had a mixed bag. He had 3
Yeah, this was
starts.
3 starts, and it was just they weren't great.
Yeah, 15 and 2/3 innings, 2 wins and a loss, 5 bombs, 3 walks, 13 strikeouts, a 689 and a 134 on the whip. Not great.
He pitched really good today, though.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
As for Henry on his bench, he goes 19 for 67. That's a 284 batting average with 10 runs, 3 doubles that would have won the category, a homer, 14 RBIs that would have won the category, 4 stolen bases, 11 walks, and 12 strikeouts. For his moves this week, only 4 of them. He added Zach Littell, Keibert Ruiz, Jorge Polanco, and Gabriel Arias. Arias going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. Not great. Not good.
No.
The MVP goes to Stephen Kwan. Very nice. I know Frank had his eye on this guy this year again. 353 with a 405, 8 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and an error. The least valuable hitter goes to Christian Yelich.
Mike Haber had his eye on going into the draft.
Yeah. He very much said like he missed out on Yelich because he picked the other guy.
Trevor McGill. Yeah.
083 with a 214 on base percentage, 2 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Chris Bassett because, of course, it does. He got a no decision in his start against the Mets because, of course, he did. 12 and 2/3 with a win, 2 walks, 16 strikeouts, an 071 and a 111. The Cy Young goes to Tyler Glasnow, 7 innings, a win, 8 walks, 10 strikeouts, a 643 and a 171.
That's over 2 starts. He only made it 2 innings on Sunday against the Phillies, and those 5 walks, like I said, that's what flipped the week.
Yeah. And now Henry and Jimmy are fiddles in the middle, right in the playoff hunt. It's going to be a good season for both of them, I would imagine.
Yeah. I think there's good things for both of these guys. Both of them are, Jimmy's been here before, and Henry's always dangerous. So, yeah, I'm expecting good things from both of those guys.
All right. Let's move on to the next matchup, which is going to be Brian Lebo taking a 10-10 tie with Chris Levy. Gotta love it. Gotta love the story of Chris Levy coming back and getting a tie in his first week. He's still undefeated.
Yes.
Still undefeated in the league.
I love it. Welcome back.
For Chris on his bench, he goes 14 for 52. That's a 269 average with 6 runs. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. Let's talk about Sunday. Lebo flipped innings pitched. Levy flipped strikeouts by a batter, and it's still a 10-10 tie.
Yeah. It was 10-10 on Saturday, 10-10 on Sunday because one thing flipped for each guy. It was pretty fun.
Yep. Close categories. Lebo wins by an error, an inning and a third, 3 losses and 2 saves. Chris wins by 3 home runs by a hitter, 3 strikeouts by a hitter, and a win, and they tied in triples. Now for Chris on his bench, he goes 14 for 52, 269 average, 6 runs, 2 doubles, a homer, 7 RBIs, 8 walks, 15 strikeouts, and 2 errors. The only thing that plays is the 15 strikeouts, which he would have lost that category if he gets him in the lineup. So Good job, Chris. His moves this week. He drops Tyro Estrada and Tyler Stevenson, picks up Trey Morgan, Charlie Morton, Jonah Heim, and Miguel Amaya, who did not play, who got picked up, had a nice day on the bench, and then gets dropped when he didn't play the next day.
Yeah. All in Tokyo.
All in Tokyo. God damn it. Denel Nunez, Curtis Mead, Chris Morrell he gets from Ben in a trade. Anthony Bender, Osvaldo Bido, whom he picked up and then dropped the next day. Bad move.
Yep.
Tyler McGill and Oswaldo Cabrera. All 10 of those moves before opening day.
Before U.S. opening day. Yeah.
Yes. Traditional opening day.
Yeah.
We also have the 2 trades that were vetoed by Ben. Cody getting Devers for DeGrom. Frank getting Kirby for Josh Lowe. Just not gonna do that apparently.
No.
I hear it. Yeah. I hear you. And it was interesting because I hated one and apparently you didn't like the other. So He's like, yeah, no, these don't make sense. This isn't good. His MVP this week goes to Aaron Judge, because who else would it go
Of
to?
course, right?
324 with a 419 on base percentage, 14 runs, three doubles, six homers, 17 RBIs, two stolen bases, and five walks with 12 strikeouts. What a monster week for Judge.
I mean, what 14 runs? My whole team scored 34.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely insane. Just he's not of this planet. He and Otani, they're just not of this planet.
No, they're like from Krypton.
Yeah. The least valuable hitter goes to Austin Riley, who was an absolute mess to start the season this year. 091 with a 167, two runs, a double, a homer, an RBI, two walks, and 10 strikeouts. His Cy Young goes to Tyler McGill. Yes.
Right?
10 and a third, two wins, four walks, 10 strikeouts, an 087 and an 087 whip. Yeah, this guy might actually be good.
Yeah. I mean, and here he was fighting for a roster spot for us, and he's our best pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chris's worst pitcher was Charlie Morton, who went 8 and a third, two losses, two bombs, three walks, 13 strikeouts, a 972 and a 192, and he's off the team.
I don't know. This guy really still has a job.
He does. At
Yeah.
41, he's still plugging along for Baltimore this year.
Boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For Brian Lebo on his bench this week, he goes 28 for 115.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. He went full bench this week.
Wow. He had 13 runs, which would have won the category. Two doubles, two homers, 10 RBIs, which would have won the category. Two stolen bases, 7 walks, and 24 strikeouts on the bench. So good job keeping that out of your lineup, but the runs and RBIs would have been helpful, I'm sure. His moves this week, he used all 10. He added Nick Gonzalez, Danny Colomb, Brian King, Edward Bizardo, who was awful, Jacob Wilson, Tommy Pham, Edmundo Sosa, Matthew Liberatore, Jonathan Cannon, who was awful. And he pissed me off because he picked up Martin Perez right as I was about to pick up Martin Perez as one of the two guys for Sunday. But no, Lebo had to do it before me. Literally, as I'm sitting there going, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to drop Jameson Taillon for a Martin Perez stream on a Sunday in week 1? Yeah, okay, let's go. Oh, I don't have it.
But and it's funny because he streamed Jonathan Cannon the day before, who was just terrible, and he went back to the White Sox to stream Martin Perez, and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, law of averages says they can't all be horrible.
I mean, but it's the White Sox. I don't think they break the law of averages when it comes to being bad.
It's very true. Very true. His MVP this week goes to Fernando Tatis, 368 with a 444 on base, 9 runs, a double, a homer, 6 RBIs, 5 stolen bases, 6 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Tatis talked about how he just wasn't healthy last year. He was basically on one leg to end the season. So maybe this is what we're going to see from this guy all year. We're going to see a huge week after week.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it before, clean or not, but like he seems like the kind of guy who even if even being clean, like he can put up weeks like this all the time. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun season for him.
No doubt. No doubt. The least valuable hitter goes to Marcus Semien, 135 with a 200 on base, 2 runs, a homer, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts, and an error. The Cy Young goes to Tanner Scott. 6 innings, 3 saves, a homer, 4 strikeouts, a 450, and a 1 over 6 relief appearances. Very nice. With a shout out to Martin Perez's 6 and a third with a 142 and an 095. That would have been nice. The Cy Young goes to Jonathan Cannon, who's off the team, 3 and 2/3, a 736 and a 164. Man, I hope these guys are competitive too, because we've seen a good run out of Brian Lebo in 2020. And then not much since. And I'd really like to see him keep it competitive all year this year, and not dig himself the hole he usually finds himself in.
Yeah, I agree. And having Chris Elliott back in the league would be a great story to see him, kind of take us by storm and be competitive, and so we'll see.
We shall see. The final matchup we're going to cover this week is Cody taking down a 14-6 win over Adam Lowenstein. On Sunday, Cody flipped home runs, and that was it. Because this was a pretty big blowout, too.
Yeah.
Close categories, Adam wins by 4 runs, 2 doubles, an RBI, and 3 saves. Cody wins by the triple, a home run, 2 errors, and 3 wins. They tied in stolen bases. Didn't they steal in stolen bases with like 11?
11.
I was like they were tied with 8 going into Saturday. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
11 still. I had 4.
Yeah.
These guys are like, nah, we'll at least trade 11s.
11s. Put up those go to 11. My goodness. For Cody on his bench this week, he goes 11 for 55. That is a 200 batting average with 12 runs. Would have won the category. 3 doubles would have won the category. 7 RBIs would have won the category. 11 walks, 16 strikeouts, and 2 errors would have lost the category. So good job keeping those out.
But this could have been a much bigger blow up.
Yeah, no doubt.
Had been able to get some of those other categories in.
Yeah, it would have been an absolute shellacking. As it is, it's bad. It's a double up. It's more than a double up.
Yeah.
So, yeah. For his moves this week, Cody picked up Anthony Bonda for a clean relief appearance, Joe Mantiply, Zach Kelly, IKF, Miguel Vargas, Kyle Manzardo, who's been tearing the cover off the ball early, Johnny DeLuca, and David Hamilton. Hopefully David Hamilton gets playing time because he had 30 steals last year. I think he deserves playing time after that.
I agree. He I had him at the end of last year, and he just couldn't get on base, but when he got on base, he was stealing them all.
Mm-hmm. Cody's MVP this week goes to the Red Sox, Willie Abreu. 524 with a 643 on base percentage, 9 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 8 RBIs, a steal, 7 walks, and only 2 strikeouts. Willie Abreu.
Yeah. Where did that come from?
I have no idea. With a shout out to Jose Ramirez, 4 homers, 6 RBIs, a 320, and a 438 on base. But Willie Abreu is the story this week.
I originally typed Jose Ramirez, and I was like, oh, wait a second. This guy.
Yeah, definitely this guy. The least valuable hitter goes to Jock Peterson. Unfortunately, he hit 143 with a 294 on base, a run, a double, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. The Cy Young this week goes to, does that say Anthony Banda?
It does. 3 wins in relief.
Wow.
3 in 5 innings.
5 relief appearances, nothing earned, 6 strikeouts, and an 040. The Cy Yuck goes to Griffin Jacks. 2 2/3, 2 homers, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a 1013, and a 263 across 3 relief appearances. Gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah, pretty bad.
For Adam this week on his bench, he goes 5 for 34. That is a 147 batting average. 2 runs, a double, a homer, which would have tied the category, 3 RBIs, and 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, that home run came on Saturday. He had Junior Caminero in the third base spot, and he was out of the lineup, and Kike Hernandez on home run on the bench. I think it was time to make that swap when the lineups came out. So it's a shame he couldn't get that in.
Yeah, it looks like a missed opportunity there. His moves this week. He adds David Fry, Yuri Perez, and Christian Campbell. Christian Campbell obviously gets the starting second base job, and then he drops him 2 days later. Okay. Tyler Stevenson gets added and placed on the IL. IKF, Miguel Rojas gets added. Shane Bieber's on the IL. Ben Kasparius, Brian Baker, and Kyron Paris.
That guy, he's a second baseman for the Angels. Who like he every time they bring him in as a pinch hitter or pinch runner, he's doing something. So now they're finally starting to start him because forget Yohan Moncada. Let's start this kid. You're the Angels. You're not going anywhere. Start your kids, and so hopefully they're gonna start playing this kid because he's looking really good.
Yeah. Ellie De La Cruz is the most valuable hitter, 250 with a 286, 7 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 10 RBIs, 2 stolen bases. However, he's also the least valuable hitter because he has 11 strikeouts and 2 errors.
and he lost the error by two. That category by 2 errors. So
Ah,
this is the Ellie De La Cruz conundrum. He's
yeah,
really good and he's also really bad.
yeah. Shout out to Brent Rooker's 4 homers, Matt
Yeah,
McClain's 3 homers, Shea Langoliers with a good week,
yeah.
but just not enough against this juggernaut offense. Like this was 18 homers and 49 RBIs and 45 runs scored. Like just absolutely insane, insane.
Yeah, well, the 49 RBIs wasn't even enough to win that
It
category, and
wasn't.
neither was the 11 steals.
No, no. 45 walks is a lot of walks. It's a lot of walks.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing. Amazing week 1, Jason Ashby. Very quickly, you get to pick one this year. We're going to do this. Pick one manager of the week. Who is it this week?
Oh gosh. One manager of the week. You know what? Hell, let's give it to Mike Sherman.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. Good week
Yeah.
1 win for Mike Sherman.
Yeah. He showed the competitiveness, made moves, made trades, and beat the crap out of Frank Pucco. So yeah, let's see more of that this year, Mike.
Yeah, keep it going, Mike, and keep it up, everybody. We had a great week 1. Nobody has lost to the season after week 1, right, Jason?
No, seasons. Seasons are not won and lost in the draft room, and they're not won and lost in week one. There's still lots, and lots of baseball left to go.
Absolutely. Jason, thanks so much for being here, man. This has been an incredible ride, and we did it. We got it in under an hour.
Amazing. Where's this been all these years?
I have no idea. I have no idea, but we did it. Guys, thank you so much for watching and listening. It's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.